All right, so far we've created this index page, and on our index page, we have a recipe for peanut butter cookies. So what I would like to do in this video is create more than one HTML page. In other words, we're actually going to be creating a website because a website is made up of more than one HTML page. So we're going to make several HTML pages, and then we're going to create a menu that's going to click to open each individual page. So let's just get started. Okay, so the way I'm going to accomplish this is, I don't really feel like this is a good candidate for a home page. So I'm going to rename this by right-clicking on the file name and choosing rename. And we're going to rename this one to cookie. This will be cookie.html. All right, I'm going to create a home page now then. So on my little icon here, I'm going to make sure that I have not the image folder selected, but the main root folder selected. So see how there's this big blue rectangle all the way around? So I want to make a page that's going to go into this main folder. And I'm going to now click on this icon that says new file. So this first icon, and create another page that's going to be applied to my project. So this is going to exist inside of my recipe project. And I'm going to call this one index.html because I'm going to use this as my home page. And so as we've done before, I need to create the skeleton. So I'm going to do a exclamation point and tab. And we'll call this recipe. That will be my title. Recipes, I don't know. And then we'll have maybe an H1 tag, and this will be my recipes, PIES. And on this home page, then I'm going to add an image. So this is going to act as my home page. And so in my image folder, I've now added two other images that I'm going to utilize in this project. One is this recipe.png, and this is going to be on my home page. And then we're already using the cookie on our now renamed cookie page. And then I'm also going to create a brownies page where I'm going to have a brownies recipe. Excellent. So let's work on this index page. So I have my recipes, and then I'm going to put that image, and then tab. The source is address the folder name, image. And then I'm going to put the recipe.png. And then my alt tag will be image of recipes. Remember, what we put in the alt tag is completely up to you as the developer. All right. So I could look at this page in a multitude of ways. If I refresh this page now, it should reflect the changes I've made to the actual index page. So if I click on reload, this is now the recipes page, which makes sense because I have altered the text on the index page. Now I can, if I want to see the cookie page, right-click on the cookie and open in the default browser just like we've done in the past. I can also recognize that this is just a path to that file in which the index exists on. So if I just change this word index to cookie, which is this page that we just created, let me hit enter. There's our cookies page. So that is simply the path that is reflected in this relative path. So now I can either get to the cookie page by putting in the actual file name up here in the URL, or I can go back to the index page, and now I have the index page reflected in here. All right, so let's make a third page then, and that third page is going to be for our brownies. So I'm going to, again, click in the main root folder. So this big rectangle in the main portion of my recipe, in the actual recipe folder, as opposed to I don't want to click on the image. If I click on the image and that blue rectangle is around the image folder, if I make a new file now, that file is going to go inside the image folder, which is not what I want. I want this to be all my HTML files in the root or in the main folder, which is the recipes. So I'm going to click on this new icon, and let's call this one brownies.html, okay, and hit enter. And just like we've done before, I'm going to do an exclamation point and tab. Maybe I'll even change the title here to brownies. And just for simplicity then, I think what I'm going to do, just to make my life a little bit easier, is I'm going to come to this cookie page, and I'm going to copy all of our ULs and OLs for my recipe. And I'm going to go back to the brownies and paste that in. Don't know why I got a big gap here, but there we go. Okay, so I think I'm going to change the recipe up a little bit just for, instead of 1 cup of sugar, we're going to have 1 1/4 cup. So a 1/4 cup would look something like this, right? But I'm going to use those special characters like we did in a previous video. So I'm going to use the ampersand and then FARC14 semicolon. And that is a special character that is going to give me, I don't know, let's see what it gives me. So I want to change to brownies. So I'm going to come back in here and spread this out so I can see it. Double click on index, type in brownies so I can see that. And now I can see that that special character is giving me a little smaller version instead of 1/4, an actual fraction. So that looks a little bit better there. So that's utilizing those special characters that we did in a previous video. And then we have some, let's do 2 large eggs, 2 large eggs. And then maybe let's do some flour. So we're going to do 1 and let's see. I'm going to do another special character, FRAC. Now look at all of my choices there, FRAC. And maybe this time we're going to do a 1/2 cup of flour. Let's do that. So I'm going to choose this 12 as a special character, cup of flour. All right, so come back into this page, refresh, and now we see those special characters being reflected here in our recipe. Excellent. So let's give this a title. Let's do an H1 and we'll call this brownies. Now I recognize that this probably isn't the steps for brownies, but that's not really the point here. We're just creating a 3rd page of brownies. So refresh that. Excellent. Let's put that image of brownies in here. So remember I have that image here. So image tag source equals brownies. So I have to do the folder name, image/brownies. Alt. I didn't finish spelling brownies, so that's not going to show up. Brownies. Brownies.jpg. Excellent. I'm going to refresh this page. Looks good. I better validate just to make sure that I've entered everything in correctly. And yes, everything validates, so that looks really good. Okay, so if I need to go from page to page, I can come into the URL and just change the page name, brownies or cookies or whatever. Oops, I spelled cookies wrong, so that's definitely not right. Cookie, there we go. But this really isn't really helpful, right? We should have some kind of navigation menu item that hyperlinks from page to page. So let's do that one next.